We're covering the bite from the coast to the lake, so get ready for some tuna and kingfish action and throw on your waders for trout and redfish.
That's right, Bree, and if you're headed to the lake, bass and crappie are still producing with a side of trophy catfish and stripers. All this is happening on the Texas Insider Fishing Report, which starts now.
Welcome to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. Presented by Yamaha.
Thanks for joining us on the Texas Insider Fishing Report, where the weekend fun is just about to begin. Rick, with the kiddos getting ready to go back to school, this weekend might just be the perfect time to get out there for that hot end of the summer bite.
Absolutely. You know, Bree, and the thing is, the wind has quit.
I know.
So, I was talking to Michael Quebeca, and they're going offshore. Everything's in trouble because the sky's the limit with the weather that they got going on in Texas right now.
And everyone sure is ready to get out there too. So
absolutely.
Go to the coast, people.
That's
All
right.
right, well, we also have a special guest, a Proshek himself from Proshek's Family Smokehouse we'll be talking to a little later. Plus, he's helping Rick out at the Parts View Workbench for rigs and techniques. So that'll be fun. But you know what? Let's start off in the Upper Fresh region covering Ray Hubbard, Lavon, Fork, and Tawakoni with fat catches and slapped full tables in Studio T with Mike McFarland. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Bree? Captain? Yeah, Studio T. It's hot, hot, hot here. Fishing's still pretty good, though. You'd be surprised what you can catch in the Texas heat. Let's go ahead and get you talking about some bass fishing on Lake Athens. It's that time. It's topwater time. Full pool. Temps mid-80s. The Berkeley Bullet Pop in the color CJ Shad, that's money there in that clear water. The Berkeley Bullet Pop 70 is my favorite top water in the fall anyways, but there's several types of aquatic vegetation on Lake Athens that really keeps that water clear and healthy, and the bass are super happy even though it's hot. So look for those offshore schooling fish to be chasing shad around the edges of the grass, the vegetation lines. And sometimes it'll happen right smack bang in the middle of the open lake. So also the Berkeley General is a real good bait to keep handy to fire back on a missed topwater bite. Moving on to Ray Hubbard. Ray Hubbard still seems to be super consistent. Great numbers of fish. Water temps mid-80s. Joe Shipley says shaky heads on rock piles. That's all you need. Some brush piles, but 12 to 15 foot. Watermelon red, green pumpkin, or plum. Also, the Bass Assassin 7-inch tap-out worm, that's my favorite one to go to. But then you start getting really good night bites, black and blue, dark colors at night, fish around those lighted docks. You won't believe how good Ray Hubbard has. A lot of big bass in it. Lake Lavon with Terry Thorne. Black bass doing the same as usual there. White chartreuse spinner baits really working super well along hard bottom areas. Soft jerk baits also can clean up some fish that you've missed in those areas. But Lavon's fishing consistent. Moving to Fork, my home lake, kind of the same thing. We're actually beginning to cool down a lot, even though it's really hot. The water's dropping down. We're mid-80s. You can find bass in the early mornings on spinner baits and chatterbaits, or you can find them midday like big worms, and that's what I like the most. Those big, giant worms, Texas rig style, doesn't matter how you use them. Shaky head, but I mean big worms. I mean like the Bass Assassin. They got an 11-inch worm, and if they had a 20-inch worm, I'd use it here on Fork. But plum apple, blue fleck, those are the best colors. And here's a great picture just to illustrate these are common bass that we catch every day here on Fork. And sometimes that worm just seems like nothing in their mouth.
Nice.
It's amazing.
All right,
So
what else you
moving on
got?
to some crappie fishing for you. I've got Lake Fork of Jackie Wiggins. Crappie fishing continues full swing summer pattern. Seeing big numbers of crappie, typically summer structures in 10 to 32 foot of water. Brush piles and laydowns seem to be the better where the better keeper fish are. You kind of got to go through a lot of fish to keep those ones you want. Minnows are best. It is summer. Sometimes those hard plastics or soft plastics and hard jigs and things, they just don't like them like a minnow. But here's Jackie working hard. As always, he'll fill the tables. I tell you, sometimes when you are using the hard little jigs, you put a minnow behind it, it works real well too. But moving on now to stripers and white bass. Lake Lavon with Terry Thorne. White bass have been very consistent, 15 foot for the last 2 weeks. 1 ounce slab spoons will catch them. Terry says, look, if you'll cut 2 of the 3 treble hooks off your spoon, you won't have a hard time getting them underhooked. And you can catch more a little faster. You don't hurt the babies. But Little Ridge Point, Hybrid Point, sometimes the island tips have been really good. Sam's Pass is best. And remember, tie the hair jig just above your spoon, about 18 inches. Will sometimes catch you 2 at a time. Hybrids on Pewaukee with Matt Cartwright. He says he's catching his limits of stripers and hybrids in 15 minutes sometimes in the morning. They're off the hooks, 22 to 35 feet, suspended, live baits best there. And then getting limits of the sand bass with this simple 8 to 12 foot slab spoon main lake point. And here's Cartwright again with another always big table of fish. Unbelievable. Never fails. They work so hard.
Every time.
And then catfish, if you got time for me, I'll run Lake Levon, Lake Pewaukee. They're everywhere still, but it is changing. You do need to do some chumming. Put your chum at about the 12 to 15 foot edges of flat, edges of a deep water break, and then come back an hour later and you will fill up your limit. It's amazing how many catfish are in all our lakes up here, but they're great eating.
All right, good. Everybody likes good eats, right, Bree?
Oh yeah, look at that.
Mike, thank you so much. We appreciate all your hard work each and every week from Studio T up there in the Dallas region.
That's Studio T.
That's it.
I'm
doing
impressed.
All right, man. We'll see you later.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mike.
bud. We're going to go ahead and
Thanks
take a
for
look at
having
the Upper Fresh hotspots. He says Ray Hubbard takes the hot seat this week, offering great summertime fishing. Big bass are in the deep rock piles, and the Bass Assassin tap-out worm used on a light, shaky head. They're cleaning up.
It looks like that is actually cleaning up in the Upper Fresh region.
That's
But
it.
now in the Heroes on the Water at Lower Fresh region, we're focusing our efforts on Fayette County, Amistad, Buchanan, Somerville, and of course, Lake Falcon with Matt Reed. Keeping the people happy, I see. Matt, go for it.
All right, Bray. It is that time. It is full-blown summertime, but we're getting closer to fall every day. The Falcon Lake bass are still in their typical summertime haunts. Main lake rock structure and man-made brush piles are your typical go-to. Right now, there's been a really good, crankbait bite. I prefer to throw that crankbait in that 12 to 18-foot range so I can cover the water quickly. The Berkeley Dime 15 is a phenomenal plug to cover that water and catch you a lot of big fish. A shaky head and a football jig are my mop-up options for those rock ledges. You can also hop brush piles with a Texas Rig 10-inch Berkeley Power Worm to add a bunch of big ones during the day. Blue Fleck or Plum are my favorite colors. Don't let the heat discourage you. They will definitely bite. Fayette County has been a little slow this week. There's an algae bloom, and it's caused the thermocline to move up shallower to that 16 to 19 foot range. Nearly all your fish are definitely coming above that thermocline, which is typical anytime one sets up. So you want to fish the shallower, drop-offs in that 15-foot range. Carolina rig and drop shot. Forward-facing sonar guys can chase the suspended, fish on the bait balls out there. There's a lot of fish on them, but they're kind of hard to trigger right now. Lake Amistad's come up 6 feet over the last month or so. The top water bite's starting to pick up in that new cover in 1 to 5 foot. Buzz baits, Berkeley cane walkers, and shad patterns have been doing great. Drop shots and minnow baits are working on your forward-facing, sonar stuff out on the points and ledges. On a definite positive note, from Amistad, there's a little bit of hydrilla beginning to grow back. That habitat is extremely important to that fishery as the water level changes a lot, and that they don't have much habitat, and when the hydrilla grows, it just is a great boost to the fishery. Lake Buchanan is doing good. The fish are up shallow in a lot of the areas of flooded brush from the lakes rising. Swamp Lord frog could be really good in that cover, and also around the rock edges and near laydowns. As in most lakes, rock piles on this lake are really good. Spinner baits, Berkeley Dime crankbaits work great there. The other thing you can do right now is flip some of that new shallow cover, just with a regular Texas rig bait. Got a picture there. I got Dylan Thompson with a big old Lake Amistad fish. Amistad's clear water. You can see in that one that he was night fishing, and that's a great way to dodge the summer heat.
Sure is.
Figured it
sure
out.
is. What else you got this week, boss?
I got some catfish from Lake Falcon. Ram Reyes sent me a report. Catfishing has been good for those trophy cats, anywhere from 10 to 30 feet of water, using live tilapia. Also, fresh cut carp is a great option for those big catfish. Keeper cats have been in that 15 to 25 foot range with stink bait. Shrimp and these small pieces of cut shad or cut tilapia has been a great way to follow up to that. Got a picture of one of those blue cat. Don't you love it when there's a whole family involved holding a great big fish, just smiling? It just doesn't get any better than that one.
All right, man. We'll talk about the white bass and the hybrids next week. I think we missed it this week, boss, but we're going to go
We
ahead.
did. I messed up and skipped. We'll make it up.
That's all right. Thank you so much. We're going to go and take a look at the lower fresh hotspots. Falcon Lake bass. They're in the summertime haunts, guys. Deep rock ledges and man-made brush piles are your local focal points, and the Berkeley Dime crankbait and shaky heads are the ticket for rocks, and Texas Rig 10-inch blue flake worms are the lure of choice for those brush piles. Get out in the heat and enjoy the action, guys.
All right, well, there is no shortage of fun to be had in the lower coast region this weekend, inshore and offshore. And then we're headed to the Parts View workbench for rigs and techniques with Rick and Mike Proshek Jr. Thank goodness you're here. Our cooler is finally full.
That's it.
We're gonna talk all about the smokehouse, so stay with us, guys. We'll be right back.
The cooler runneth over.
Finally.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Ameritrail. Load, launch, relax. Fenwick. Feel everything. Bahio. Blue light blocking, radically clear polarized fishing sunglasses. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. Fishing for adventure. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. Prospect Smoked Meats. Fuel your day the Texas way. And Skeeter Performance Fishing Boats. Eat, sleep, fish.
Well, as you can see, I got my special guest star, Mike Proshek, here at the Parts View workbench. You know, Mike, we're talking about rigs and techniques. Last week, we were deep dropping, stuff 500 feet or deeper. Now, this week, we thought it would be really cool to talk to the guy that maybe wants to fish 300 feet and shallower. So you know what, let's just go ahead and get started on your boat. I know that you guys primarily go out in each weekend or whatever with the nephews, all the family. So let's talk a little bit about how you like to fish.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us, Rick. We like to fish typically snapper fishing. We fish with a bunch of kids, so we try to keep it simple. Our go-to when we fish is a lure of this sort. We like to tip it with either a squid or a sardine, something on there that and help for the smell and attract the fish. And if the bait comes off, you still got your jig. You're still fishing, so
Yeah.
it works well.
Absolutely. So what else do you guys typically, I know you like to do real jigging. That's one of my favorite things to do. Keeps me busy, keeps my little mind from wandering. So let's talk a little bit about the jigging rod. What do you like
The
to do?
jigging rod, I like a 6'6" rod. The metal type jig. To me, it produces better fish and more fish. It does come with a lot of extra work to go with it to make it perform like it needs to. And some people are not up to that.
Right.
But the metal jig is my go-to on the boat, and my nephews are getting to the same point. And that's their go-to also.
So on the rod itself, you guys like using the meter line like we have on this Fathom?
The meter line works well because, as you well know, those fish could be at 50 foot, they could be at 150 foot. So you got the meter line, then you know what level you need to be fishing at. And
So guys, remember this about the meter line. Every 25 feet, the color changes, and that's why we like using it, because it's real simple. If you're in 150 feet, that's 6 color changes, right?
Right.
I did my math right,
Keeps
Bo?
it simple, yeah, 6.
All right, now what about people that you might take on the boat that don't have the experience like your nephews, where they don't want to be jigging? We use a double hook rig.
Right. The double hook rig works well. It's simple.
Right.
And almost anybody can use it. It is a go-to pot for most people out there bottom fishing in our area.
Right.
Again, it's simple. It's not a lot of work goes into it, but it's very productive also.
So you would just typically bait this with
A squid, if you got a bunch of trash fish that are bothering you, if you're just fishing a sardine or even a small mackerel works great.
right?
Yeah, the bigger the bait, bigger the fish. So
So Mike, what are you typically catching on this?
this sort of rig, you could, if your snapper is your primary target,
Right.
But it's in the same sense, you might end up with some ling, amberjack, even grouper.
Right. Oh, okay. So speaking of amberjack and grouper, let's go back to our metal jigs. I jumped the ship a little bit. So you like using the bigger metal jigs for the groupers and the tunas and the amberjacks, right?
Right. That'd be my go-to. You're just targeting big snapper. Maybe this is the size lure you want. This is a great lure also for tuna fishing.
Right.
And wahoo.
Right.
So that works great. And as you get bigger, the jigs, a preference for amberjack would be something of this sort there. Seems like the amberjack like the long, skinny metal lure. So that's our go-to on the, it is a lot of work to.
And then what size leader we're using? 80 pound?
I like 80-pound leader material.
Fluorocarbon?
Fluorocarbon, yes.
All right.
Seems to work the best.
So Mike, when we get that fish up there, what do we typically, we need to return that fish and we have a descending device. So
Right.
there's certainly the sequelizer,
Right.
which people know, but the problem with the sequelizer is you got to set the different depths.
Right.
So you have a designated rod like this old pin Senator on this heavy rod. And the way this works, this was made by the guys, I believe, at Diamond Fishing Line. Real simple. Just gonna go in that grouper or that red snapper's mouth. We're gonna poke a little hole, go in his mouth like this. Now, as we drop him down, he's gonna be up here and we're dropping him down. So when he gets to about 100 feet or 150 feet, if you're fishing in 200 feet of water, if you stop it, he'll just wiggle off, or you can just reel this, and when you reel it, guess what?
Slides
it comes
off.
right out of
Right.
his mouth. And it's not, it's just so easy. All you gotta do is adjust your weight according to the depth.
Right. Very simple.
Yeah, you know what
Very.
else? Can you believe that was the fastest 4.5 minutes of your life, right?
Fast.
I mean, goodness, that time went by.
You probably felt like it was 10 minutes. Come on now, Rick.
Come on,
now,
man.
my
Good
question
job,
is,
Mike.
have you ever dropped down a snack stick? See if anything would eat that.
It works.
Oh!
That's the next one.
You gotta get jerky with
You gotta
that.
get jiggy with the jerk. All right, well, the Lower Coast region has been on fire, to say the least, and Captain Chad Kinney is catching it all from trout to marlin. Talk to us, Chad.
I tell you what, the fishing weather it's been epic. The conditions are perfect. I just saw Mike last week, fortunately, and he brought me down a whole bunch of price sticks, frickin' beef tenderloins and jerky and turkey jerky to go on the boat. So I'm heading out offshore overnight trip. So thank you, Mike, on that one. So heading to inshore here real quick. Trout fishing has been really good in 3 to 5 foot of water. We've been talking this a long time. The reason we're talking about it because that's where they're at. And then redfish are along the King Ranch shoreline. They're kind of scattered, but they're up in there. So talking about the trout, it's been really, really good here in the Lower Coast. I just saw Mike this past weekend, and he was hammering the fish done by 8 o'clock in the morning. So with these calmer conditions, you can see the sand pockets and you see the grass beds better than ever. The green water kind of shows up right there, so it really helps you pick up some stuff like that. The fish, they're right in the edge of that grass bed, and they're going to ambush anything in those sand pockets. So if you're using live bait, right now live croaker is working really the best. We're using like a 5 to 6 ounce Eagle Claw Kale hook on that. The size of the bait kind of matches the hook up with the size of the bait. We're working the bait right on the edge of that grass bed and sand pocket. If you're drifting or wading, then we're switching over to some saltwater assassin, soft plastic sea shad, magic grass. I talk about all the time. That's my favorite color to go to with the 1/8 ounce jig head, Eagle Claw, and work the same thing. Work the edges of those grass beds, work the sand pockets. There's plenty of slot fish in those 15 to 20 inches, and there's a whole bunch of bigger trout we've been catching in a mix and releasing them. So I got a picture here of Heather Haston out of Port Mansfield. It's her personal best fishing with my wife, actually. 29-inch trout she released.
Nice.
So a good time. She had a good time with that one. So with the calmer conditions, like I mentioned, now you can go up to the King Ranch shoreline. It's been good for wading and looking for some redfish. So basically, I really go up there, look for bait movement early in the AM. And once you see a bunch of mullet flipping and everything else like that, you see a bunch of them everywhere like that. Best way is a power pole down and get out and make a wade. Try some Berkeley Jaywalkers early, size it up. They're about the size of the mullet working right there. And then try right up on the shoreline. Don't worry about casting 1-2 feet off that shoreline. Work it off the bank out to about 3 foot of water. Spread your guys out. You can also try some soft plastics, saltwater assassin sea shad, the magic grass, chicken on the chain and color. But when you're wading, make sure you cover a lot of fishing area. And I always talk about this, but fishing area doesn't mean by walking past. It means by casting at 10, 12, 2, keep on going on. Don't have your buddy outrun you, outpace you. He's going to spook the fish. So once you get on some fish, slow your weight down and keep on casting at that 10, 12, and 2, and you'll have a really good, good catch off that. Moving to the offshore, favorite time of year. Been talking about this since May and earlier. Offshore conditions have really been good. It allowed boats to travel a lot farther, whether you're small or big. We're traveling out to floater rigs, to the fads, finding some weed lines. We're finding some really good, higher than normal for here numbers of Dorado and some billfish. So when you're going out bill fishing, head out offshore but look for the Dorado. So the Dorado, we've been definitely looking and finding them on the weed lines and refloating. Once you find a good weed line, then try some smaller baits. Try some cedar plugs, squid chains, small feathers in your spread. Smaller greenback ballyhoo also work well on this stuff. If you're in a big school, then you can also back down on them on the weed line and throw some chum out, and then get ready to, free line and the eagle claw. You can put a little circle hook or live bait hook like 7/0, 6/0, and throw them in the chum line. And once you get one going on, leave that fish right by the back end of the boat. It's going to attract more Dorado. There's been literally hundreds of them coming to the boat, and it's fast action, a lot of fun. But just catch, what you guys can and what you can eat. Don't burn up the whole cooler and leave them to go bad. So catch what you can and have some good, leave some later for the future. Talking about bill fishing, I haven't seen the bill fishing this good in years. It's really picked up the last few weeks. You can head up to the pads, work those out of the lower coast. You can find some weed lines, work those. They're feeding on those Dorado out there. I've also been going a whole bunch on the overnight trips to the floater rigs. I've been doing a bunch of those. I'm going again here in about 3 days. We've been working the rigs, the floaters, and the drill ships. Put a full spread out and put some mid-range on your riggers, some chuggers on your flat lines, some larger ballyhoo rigged up either naked or with some small chugger's head on it. And we've been been holding bait and we're trolling them about 7.5 to 8 knots. Keep eye on your baits, of course, because we just went out there during the middle of the day. We went 3 for 3 before 1 o'clock in the afternoon on some good blue marlin. So right now it's the best time to hit out there. October, basically from now to October. So we got a picture of a release of one of our 3 blue marlin. You can see the AFTO gloves on there, and I hope Mikey can come down here and experience the stuff with me.
Bub, old Mikey don't want to catch no blue marlin, Bub.
It's
that's
okay to
work.
be scared, Mikey.
All right, Chad, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the lower coast region. He says, inshore the trout fishing, it remains excellent. 3 to 5 feet of water by grass beds in the sand pockets. The redfish have been along the King Ranch shoreline and Glady's Hole. And then offshore, there's been some good numbers of Dorado, and with those Dorado, there's billfish on the weed lines and at the floater rigs.
The best he's seen it in a few years. That says a lot coming from Chad.
That does.
All right, well, as we've talked about, summer is fading fast, but the savings are still blazing hot. It's the final days of the Skeeter Blazing Hot Summer Savings Sales Event, and until September 5th, you can save big with up to $5,000 in rebates on select models. Get the Skeeter boat you've been dreaming about across the popular bass, saltwater, and deep V-lines. So visit your authorized Skeeter dealer or go to skeeterboats.com for more details. But we're headed to the coast next to see what our captains in the Phillips Upper Coast and Proshek's Middle Coast regions are putting us on this weekend. Plus, we're talking with our friend. I'm surprised he's still your friend from Proshek's, because I heard he didn't bring you snickerdoodle cookies.
He didn't.
All right, well.
That could be a deal breaker, but
We'll see.
You know what? We're going to talk about some meat here in a minute.
Well, all right, we'll talk about some meat. All right, well, there's always more to see beyond the show, so make sure you scan that QR code on your screen to connect with us. From bonus tips and full reports to fishing videos and merch, it's all just a click away. We'll be right back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. Abyss Battery. Power your pursuit. Rodan. Set it, forget it, catch more fish. Phillips. Building the infrastructure that safeguards our future. Berkeley Pro-Spec Chrome. And Penn. Let the battle begin.
Well, it's a special moment for me here at the workbench. You know, I got Mike Prosick Jr., the owner of Prosick's Family Smokehouse. Mikey.
Thank you for having us, Rick. Appreciate it.
We're so glad
good to
you're
be
here. So let's talk a little bit about 50 years.
Yes, sir. 50 years. 1974, we got it cranked up as a little mom and pop store, selling everything, convenience items to chicken feed to meat market, and all of the above. We covered it all.
Yeah, you did. You brought the community in. So let's talk a little bit about sausage, bub.
Yeah. So the sausage we make today is the same sausage that's 3 generations in. Still the same meat block, same salt, pepper, garlic, fresh garlic. Still the same quality. So it's basically, the high end. We can make it and make it special for our special customers and friends.
Summer sausage is your favorite go-to on the boat?
Yeah, summer sausage is great go-to on the boat. It's simple, it's cooked, it's ready to go. Just slice it up, maybe a little chunk of cheese. Along with that, maybe adding in some shelf-stable items. You got a bison stick, which is one of my favorites. Works great. The jerky, again, it's something that we've been doing for years. That's a project staple, basically, the jerky is. So,
the variety of different flavors of jerky?
We got jerky, we got a beef. Turkey, we got a venison, we got a bison. We got all sorts of flavors, and spicy, not spicy, jalapeno, Cajun spice, so a little bit above. So we got a lot of stuff going on.
So the same thing with the beef sticks, right?
Right, beef sticks. And at the end, when you gotta have those, all of us got little sweet tooths, right? So we gotta have that, something special for that sweet tooth. So what we got to have at the end is some snickerdoodles.
What? You had snickerdoodle?
To top off that jerky.
God, for straight out of the bakery.
Yes,
you
sir.
lied to me, dog. That
Yes,
is
sir.
so wrong.
Special
You've been holding out on me. Oh, I love this man so much. Thank you so much, Mike. The snickerdoodle. So where are the locations,
All
Mike?
right, so we got 2 locations. We've got a location in El Campo, which is our original location, and we also have a location in Sealy, Texas on I-10. So in those locations, we have a full-line scratch bakery, fresh meat market, anything you want, smoked meat counter, grill that cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
And then we got all the convenience items, ice, whatever you need for the trip.
And guess what? We're going to go to prosix.com to find out all the information and see all the different things they have to offer.
Appreciate it. Come see us.
All right, bub. Thank you so much.
Rick,
You did a good job.
Thank you.
We set you up.
You did set me up.
You up.
Guess what? I'm going bad right
so
now.
happy. Serotonin is flooding his brain. Okay, the
I
Phillips
took a lot to
Upper
get all that
Coast
done without you
region
signing up.
is looking good inshore and offshore with a variety of species to catch and so little time to do it. So let's see if Captain Mickey Eastman can't help us out a little. Go for it, Mickey.
All right, hello everybody. The Phillips Upper Coast region. Let's get started with inshore. Speckled trout. The Bolivar Peninsula and the Galveston Island surf have been good for wade fishermen early in the mornings for nice specks. Topwaters are best in the first gut with clear water all the way to the beach. Saltwater Sassons, Mirror Little Johns, rigged with a 1/4-ounce jig head, most consistent. Live shrimp under a popping cork rig, working great too. And very nice trout are being caught at San Luis Pass on big live shrimp under the bridge, free shrimp, are Carolina rigged. And reefs throughout the Galveston Bay system. We're in that summer pattern. They're catching good numbers of trout and soft plastics, live shrimp, 6 to 10 feet over shell, so it's getting kind of hot. Clean green and 89 degrees water temperature. Sabine Lake, pretty much the same over there. Conditions are still improving daily. Lower end of the lake, still the best. Jetties fished early with soft plastics and live shrimp. They're producing very nice specks. And the lower channel around the Causeway and Lighthouse Cove and LNG plant, they're still holding good numbers of fish over shell on those ledges in about 6 to 8 feet of water. Throw soft plastics and pearl and chartreuse for best results like bass assassins and Little Johns are working really great. And some trout are starting to show up on the top end of the lake near the ship channel and north of the Pleasure Island up there. So water clarity up there is fair and 89 degrees. In Main Lake Deep Shell north of the Causeway, still holding solid trout in 6 to 8 feet of water. Saltwater Sassons and slamming chicken and red shad. Look for diving gulls early in the morning on along that shoreline around Blue Buck and Garrison's Ridge in about 5 to 7 feet of water. Those trout are chasing shrimp real early in the morning. And this week's speckled trout photo, that's courtesy of Captain Blaine Firemood from Baytown. All right, let's get to redfish. Redfish action's picking up with the warmer temperatures. Fish shallow early over that grass and shell where those schools are running shad and shrimp tight to the shoreline, and then move out a little bit with top water spoons and soft plastics later in the day. And the open water Look for those birds, slicks, and mudbulls for bigger schools in the heat of the day. A lot of those are pretty much oversized reds, but they're fun to catch. And Sabine Lake redfishing, pretty good too. It's starting to heat up on the open water main lake under shad balls and diving gulls in the middle of the day. When water glasses off, those winds come down, it gets really good. Throw soft plastics and crankbaits, and the north end of the lake, up near the Barrel Channel Cut and those islands along Intercoastal near the Natchez and Sabine rivers, look for schooling redfish up that way too. And deeper shell off the Ship Channel near Pleasure Point, they're producing some good slot reds on soft plastic and paddle tails. And this week's redfish photo is Tony Shazinski of Houston, and with a real nice catch there. All right, let's get to offshore. Fishing in the Gulf of America continues to be good, with numerous great catches of multiple species of fish are coming in. Marlin, sailfish, dolphin, ling, blackfin tuna, snapper, and kingfish, they're being caught consistently. And Captain Sharky Marquez at Galveston reporting strong catches daily, out of Galveston, and Captain Jeff Naylor with South Texas Salt Life Adventures reporting the Dorado bite slowed a little bit, but blackfin tuna bite, it's really strong behind shrimp boats, and the snapper bite is excellent on some toad-sized snapper, those Texas-sized big boys. And looking at the photo this week, blackfin tuna, that's courtesy of Captain Jeff Naylor, and red snapper photos also courtesy of Captain Jeff Naylor. So that rounds it up for the Upper Coast there, guys.
Thank you so much, Mickey. It's so great to have you part of the show. I'm just so grateful for all the hard work you do each week. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Mickey's hot spots from the Upper Coast region. He says the Galveston and Boulevard Beach front producing good numbers of speckled trout, bull, redfish, and sharks. Lake Sabine surf down the beach near McFadden Refuge has been good for specks and redfish early into the mid-morning.
All right, well, the Prospects Middle Coast region has us waiting for trout and reds while providing some offshore table fare of wahoo and dorado. So let's get more details with Captain Bing Kearns.
Hey, it's calm, it's hot, but we like it. Surf's flat. Light winds has allowed us to get in the surf and work the grain of the jetties up and down that Prospects Middle Coast region. Take a picture, look at our beaches. They look like Florida beaches right now. Emerald blue, water details every bar and every gut. The areas around Pascagoula have been good with tide running trout entering and exiting the current. Topwaters and soft plastics like mirror lures and bass assassins work well. Guy Lynn Smith said he's been heading along the southern reaches of San Antonio Bay, pulling trout, sand, and grass cuts. On topwaters, those roach-colored soft plastic bass assassins, those wading with soft tines have done well, and boaters been posting up on the edges of reefs with live shrimp. And Palacios waders have worked harder for trout on these days, these hot days. Man, our water temperature has reached 90 degrees at some time. Early morning bite has been the best. Many of those fish have been caught well before sunrise, and they're falling off in the deep water later. East Matterhorn Bay has been giving up fair catches while waiting out of the boat. Those mid-bay reefs, they hold trout all year, but especially in the heat of the summer with this green tide, it's really, you really need to get out there early. Please respect our resource with these big trout, especially when the water's hot like it is. Get them back in the water as soon as you can. The Rockport plug and soft plastic bite's been good around sunrise. Fly baiters using piggy perch and shrimp along the sand and grass adjacent to the deep channel. There's our photo there. That's Roy Big Head Galavez. He found his trout in East Matagorda Bay on Captain Chris Caldwell's boat. They had to be thick for a guy like that to catch him. He's a good customer of mine, and we enjoy having him out. Redfish action. August is going to be a tough month to find redfish consistently in the shallows. That's changing a little bit because we're getting a little bit more water pumped in the bay with our low barometer. But our low tides have made our water's been boiling. Like I said, it's hit 90 degrees this week. If we get a little bit more water in the bay like we did early this week, it's going to help things, and it really helped our redfish action. Waders along that east end at East Matagorda Bay found redfish while wading along Brown Cedar Flat, Bird Island, and Catch-All. There's also a bruiser redfish along the log while drifting. Of course, the surf side of Port O'Connor and Matagorda jetties have held a lot of red. I've caught reds this week along the jetty, just some really good action there. And so we're hoping with a little bit more water pumped into our bay, our redfish action is going to kick back off. Offshore action, federal red snapper season continues to produce a lot of bent rods. Seas have been running 1 to 2 foot for the past 2 weeks. It's just a lot of offshore traffic getting out there. Chunks of squid, sardines, or Russell lures worked well in state waters. Better fish pushing 20 pounds came up in about 80 to 100 foot of water off the coast of Freeport and Matagorda. 25 to 40 foot of water holding lots of 10 pounders, and that's about 8 to 15 miles out. Kingfish continue to hang out around shrimp boats while they're culling, and the wahoo and dorado are on the wing lines and good in about 200 foot of water. Tarpon action's been good as well. They're there one day, they're gone the next. That's just tarpon fishing, but man, we've had a lot of chances to sight cast the poons here lately. It's hot out there, but so's the fishing in our Project Middle Coast region. Please continue to practice catch and release. Take care of those big trout, especially with this heat and these high water readings. Grab a stick of that Project dry sausage, make a cast, make a day on the middle coast. I'm going to do it in the morning. I'm going to take a big stick of sausage, make a wade, come back, and eat a little breakfast.
All right. Thank you so much, Bink. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the MirrOlure hotspots from the Middle Coast region. He says the trout, they are biting around Pass Cavallo while wading with Bass Assassins and MirrOlure soft dines. The redfish are good along the north shoreline of West Matagorda Bay on gulps and under a mid-coast popping cork.
All right, well, it's time to get ready for Yamaha's Golden Opportunity Finance Offer.
Golden opportunity.
Are you eating a snickerdoodle? From now until September 30th, 2025, purchase a new eligible Yamaha V6 4.2 liter, 225, 250, or 300, and get rates as low as 0% for 12 months, then 15.99% to 20.99% APR thereafter when purchased on a Yamaha credit card. Visit YamahaOutboards.com for complete details. How come you
know
get
the
to
good
snack
news
and
about
I don't?
this?
What?
The good news about this
You're
now
happy?
Mike and I can be friends again.
Yes, you can.
He didn't forget
Yes, you can.
Snickerdoodle.
We don't want an unhappy
He's playing a
Rick.
joke on me.
All right, our Star Charm Middle Fresh Region Guide is gearing you up for the tricky bass bite going on, coming right up. But first, we're gearing up for some new products at the Parts View Workbench, so stay hooked and we'll be right back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Fish to Win, Fenwick, Feel Everything, Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome, Heroes on the Water, Paddle, Fish, Heel. Turn on the bite anytime. Tie on a MirrOlure. Front Runner Boats, performance-built offshore fishing boats made in the USA. And Startron, start, run, and store with Startron.
On today's Power Pole tip, we're going to take a deeper dive and look at some of the boating, navigation, and fishing apps that I like to use with the Vision. We all love satellite maps, and whether it's Bing, Google Earth, the Saltstrong map, FishBrain, or Savvy Navi, they all look different depending on the area you're fishing, and I like to choose one that's taken at low tide. With our patented Vision Enhance, I can brighten the features and saturation on that map, which shows potholes, troughs, and other areas where the fish are gonna lay up better than ever before. Some other apps I like are Windy. I can see the wind direction, how strong the wind's blowing from any direction live out on the water. I can even get radar without installing a full radar system on the boat right here from my Vision screen. To learn more about the Power Pole Vision, go to powerpole.com, and that's your Power Pole tip.
Well, we're here at the Taco Marine, trolling the edge at the Parts View Workbench, Bree. And speaking of Parts View, you know what, we're going to jump right into it. You know, Parts View makes a variety of different stuff, but tonight we want to talk about the service kits that they have. So whether you have a 20-hour service to do, a 100-hour or a 300-hour, you can get this by ordering through Parts View. The cool part is that they make this available for Yamahas, Mercury's, and Suzuki's as well. But what I love is that all of these kits, Bree, they all come with OEM parts, which means these are all Yamaha manufactured parts. So in this particular kit, we've got spark plugs, we've got filters, water pump repair kits, thermostats, fluids, OEM engine service kits at the Parts View. They have you all covered. So in 100 Hour, for a good example, they also have the guide and video that you can go and learn how to do all this stuff yourself. So you can order in the parts, and then you have the ability. But more importantly, if you have an order of $99 or more, they pay free shipping. So that's the part that I love. And again, all these parts are OEM. But if you actually get into trouble, then they also have some experts waiting on the sideline. You can just call a 1-888 number.
Customer support.
Yeah, customer support,
Yeah,
and they can answer and help you walk through it. The thing too is if you're interested in buying any of this stuff, you can certainly go to partsview.com and type in a code, the Texas Insider 5, and you'll get 5% off of your order.
Great.
All right. So also, I want to talk a little bit about these Abu Garcia Veritas rods. Yeah, man, you can hand it to me or you can just hold it. But what I love about them is they come in a variety of rod lengths. You got a 6.6, a 6.10, a 7, a 7.3, and a 7.4, and a 7.6. Now the rod powers are medium, medium heavy, medium light, and also heavy. What I love is the fast action. These rods are really so badass. The line rating 12 to 25, fast action rod, and they're all one piece. So go to abugarcia.com and check out all the new Veritas rods.
Pretty.
So what do you got with this
Good
ceramic
job.
Starbright wash and wax?
Starbright ceramic wash. First of all, it's watermelon scented. Just have to say that. It's always nice to have a nice smell.
They did
Sorry,
that
I'm a
just
girl.
for
I'm going
you.
to say it.
Yeah.
All right.
Say whatever you
but
want
it's,
over here.
it cleans. It leaves a protective shine as you're cleaning it, which is great for water, dirt, grime. It all slides right off as soon as you put it on. You can apply it with the Starbright deck brush that they have. It's got a deep glossy shine. It's for boats, it's for trucks, it's so versatile for RVs. Windows are even stainless steel. You just mix in water and wash like normal and it comes out great.
It does.
Clean, it's shiny.
You know, if you've ceramic coated with the wax and seal, this is the soap you'd want to use to make sure you don't take that off. This really works well.
It comes together. We should have that one on too.
Well, we have had that one on.
At the same time, because you need them together.
No.
They're partners.
Keep them apart.
All right, fine. Okay, so next, we've got our Texas Insider Fishing Report. Beautiful Richardson blue camo hat. I'll just go ahead and put it on because you're normally the model over here. You think you're just so hot.
Oh.
But
There it is, guys.
This is it. Snapback mesh is nice and breathable for the boat. We got our logo right here. It's so lovely, very comfortable.
And if you want your fishing partner or your wife to look as hot as Bree, just got to order one of those badass Texas Insider Fishing Report
Correct.
blue camo hats.
Correct. They also have
Where do
them
we
in
go to get it?
Different colors as well. We go to store.rmmedia.com. We also have tons of other merch available that you can purchase and be part of our family.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You're right.
I'm right. Well, look at us doing this stuff over here. I made a little cameo. Dave's not feeling that well, but it's okay. We got it.
We got it. We're feeling it right here.
We're feeling it. We're good. All right. Well, we're getting you on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn in the Startron Middle Fresh region this week. So, Matt, what do we need to know?
Well, I just got to say, you guys sold me. And I tell you what, that Parts View stuff, man, those guys are incredible. I was actually just utilizing some of their knowledge yesterday. They really helped me out finding some of the right stuff. So kudos to those guys. They do a heck of a job over there. But as far as fishing goes, let's talk about Toledo Bend. Let's talk about some largemouth bass. The water level has continued its downward trend this week. It's about 2.5 feet low and falling now. Finally getting that water level down a little bit late in the summer this year. The water temperatures are hitting their annual highs now. So we're seeing them from the upper 80s in the mornings all the way into the mid 90s during the day. And the bass are in a pretty typical pattern for this time of the year. It's basically a tale of two patterns. There are some shallow fish that are hanging around the channel swings and around the grass points and stuff like that. And then there's some out deeper in about 12 to 30 feet of water relating to the drop-off and just out there roaming around chasing shad as well. So a worm has been a great bait for both patterns, and my go-to has definitely still been that 6-inch Bass Assassin Tap Out. Man, that thing just absolutely crushes them. I like it in the red or the purple colors this time of the year. typically use a 3/16 ounce weight when I'm up shallow throwing it, and then about a 1/4 ounce weight when I'm offshore, because right now we don't have a lot of wind usually. So it's nice. It's good to use those light weights. A little bit slower fall tends to get a few more bites. So it's also important to make sure you have a topwater walking bait out at the ready, whether you're deep or you're shallow fishing right now, because those fish have been coming up, busting the surface some, and you want to have that at the ready for when they do. A chrome Berkeley Jaywalker is perfect for that. Just make sure you got it out, got it loose, got it ready, and you can catch those. A crankbait and a smaller finesse worm like that Bass Assassin Little Tapper is also good, especially during the middle of the day. That Little Tapper is a good bait to go to if the fish get a little lethargic, they're not feeding as much. Go to that little bit smaller finesse worm, same colors, slow it down a little bit, and you can still get bit. All right, now going over to Sam Rayburn. Lots changed over there the last week and a half or so. The water level at Rayburn is down to about 6.5 feet low now. The temperature is in the upper 80s to low 90s, and they're only generating through the dam, water through the dam a couple hours of the day, most days, and then some days they're not generating at all. So the bite changed a lot because of that, because we went from having a ton of current while they were pulling that lake down really fast, and now there's basically no current, but it's reached that lower level, and they're not generating much. So a lot of guys were talking about catching them really good on crankbaits and stuff the last few weeks as those fish were stacked up in those current breaks and things like that. And that's the main thing that we noticed this week, is that the crankbait bite really died off. The fish are still very concentrated. They're just not stacked tightly together in big schools anymore. So with no current, they tend to roam around more chasing shad. So it's a little tricky, and basically what I mean is that there are large concentrations of bass in certain areas because the lake level's down, so the fish are really concentrated, but they're just not tightly grouped up on a specific spot where you can put the boat in one spot and make a repeated cast and keep catching them. You kind of got to chase them around a little bit. Basically, there's schools of 5 to 10 fish chasing shad around the drain. Some may be set up on the bottom, some may be set up on brush. So basically, you pull up, you catch one on the point, you catch one off a tree, you catch one on a topwater bait, all kind of in the same area. You're just not doing the same repetitive cast and keep catching them. The fish are schooling on the surface quite a bit, so that's fun. But once again, they're on the move a lot, so you just got to have it at the ready. And when they pop up, throw it over there, catch you one or two. They go back down, keep bouncing around with the worm. That worm bite's been great. The best depth has been about 12 to 20 feet of water. And some big fish are being caught. They're a little skinny this time of the year, but they are still giving up some big ones there at Rayburn. I got a photo for you of one of our bass campers. We had another bass camp over there at Rayburn this week. Had a lot of fun. Fishing was a little slow, but as you can see there, Mr. Brandon Thompson holding up a nice bass from that camp this week. We had a blast over there doing that.
All right. Tell us about the
crappies. Let's talk about the crappie. Toledo Bend, the bite actually improved a little bit lately, even though it's getting hotter. The fish are sitting in about 15 to 30 feet of water. They're on the timber, and they're biting minnows really well. The jig bite is decent too, but on a really lightweight jig head, like a 32nd ounce jig head with that little bitty panfish assassin, 1.5 inch tiny shad. Monkey milk's been still the great color all year this year. That's been doing the work. So just slow down, and you can definitely have some good days, catch some big fish. Over at Rayburn, crappie bite's pretty good over there too. Same deal, pretty much about 15 to 30 feet of water on the timber and the brush. Same story there, the minnows and the jigs. It seems like the minnow bite's been a little bit better, but the jig bite's pretty good too. Do we have time to hit the white bass?
No time for the white bass, bub. Sorry, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna take a look at the Rodan Marine System hotspot from the Middle Fresh region. My man says that the largemouth bass, they are schooling on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn, biting topwater, walk baits. The crappie are hitting minnows and in those lakes in 15 to 30 feet, and the white bass and hybrids, they're chomping at Cedar Creek on spoons and trolled baits.
All right, well, we're wrapping things up. So from the Gulf to the lakes and creeks, here's what's popping on Seize the Social this week. Let's take a look. What's happening? Rick?
The dude is...
What's happening?
He's in the kayak.
Thank you,
Watch
Captain
this.
Obvious.
Yeah. Boom. Uh-oh.
The suspense.
Look, 2, 3,
What's
4.
happening?
He's catching this big old snook, and it came off. How does it come off?
Oh. Oh, man.
That's fishing, dude.
Ah, not catching. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Catch fish. Bye.
Bye, guys.